Hey, it's Kasim and John. What are we again? Your daily Google News. And
Yeah.
we want to talk to you about what to do after the havoc, the chaos that is Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Because it's
Yeah.
interesting. Retailers just kind of throw their hands up. They're like, all right, we did it. We're done. All the money that can be made has been made. Let's, go out to lunch, which might be one of the biggest mistakes that you can make because you're leaving such a significant amount of money on the table. Like there's a huge opportunity for cleanup here, right?
Yeah. And what's funny too is I think people think of it kind of like the old brick and mortar style where it's like, okay, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everyone goes to Target, they buy everything they need, and then we'll see in February kind of thing.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, that's true. But what you can do though is you can leverage all of that by making sure that Google is utilizing that appropriately, not only as an audience that can go after and start to spend more on, but also how to relieve some of the possible high budgetary restrictions you had on your campaign, even the goal restrictions on your campaign that actually made sure that your Black Friday Cyber Monday was profitable. I think I was talking to this about with someone else recently about this, and us, digital marketers or any sort of digital businesses, we don't have the markup that the old brick and mortar stores had. You have some things that are sitting on the shelves at like Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever it may be, and they paid $5 for it, and it's now selling for $29.99. And then it ends up going on clearance for $12.99. They still make 200% their money back. A lot of times with the internet, we're focusing on 20%, 30% profit margins because we have to be competitive. So getting a 20% off sale, you're like, great, I'm just gonna sell the sell, and then
it's just customer acquisition at that point, right? Your list building.
Yeah, your list building, and then hopefully you'll have the LTV to support that. Otherwise, I have some clients now with the supply chain issues that are not selling anything. Like, hey, I'm gonna mark some things down like $5-10, but just don't advertise. I don't want to run out of stock. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And so it's kind of like the what to do after the sale volume is over, how to leverage your audiences, how to possibly start new campaigns, how to remove some of the possible goals that you had. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today.
So one of the points that I want to make before we dive into the granularities is I feel like there's a huge opportunity for FOMO campaigns between the end of Cyber Monday and the beginning of like the Christmas season, all the way up to like December 24th. And in some instances, maybe beyond, because people are playing catch up. If you had a competitor or somebody in the industry that's running, like really aggressive campaigns, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, especially if you can't compete, an outbound narrative can be once they close up and people have missed out on those opportunities, you get to sweep in and play fear of missing out. Say, hey, if you missed the big whatever it is, we're still here for you. And now you get to kind of loop around and play a little bit of cleanup too. So I think just from a content, like the offer, the thing that I'd strongly encourage people, especially if Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if it's there's just way too many teeth in your industry and you've chosen not to participate, maybe think about like being it's not bad to be the follow-up. Like, I hate to say sloppy seconds, but you know what I'm saying?
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Too Late Tuesday.
Yeah. That's so funny, dude. I think we just coined a new term.
There you go. So I'm going to share my screens. I want to kind of share with some people. Because I think that's what probably a lot of advertisers might be experiencing that could be in for a shock. So this campaign is going to be blurred out in the top left, but this campaign here is my smart shopping campaign. Now I'm using a target ROAS goal, and in the last 7 days, I'm trying to spend $1,000 a day. And while my cost stayed pretty much the same, 0.44% less, my conversions went up 31%, my conversion value went up 34%, and then my ROAS is now at 703. It's up 35%. From last week to this week, went 521 up to 703. Now they're running a sale. The sale is going to go all the way through to the end of Christmas Day. So the brand campaign went from 8,800 to 19,000, which is just insanity. My cost per conversion is 76 cents. I just never seen that before. I thought that was kind of cool. It cost me a whole $45 to make $9,000. But that's just the brand campaign. Obviously, that's just because people are Googling the brand. But even like DSA campaigns,
don't have to tell people that.
I know, right? For those that know this channel, they know I'm anti-brand because a bad advertiser would be like, let's scale that. But the extensive DSA, which is DSA campaign, went from 262 to 455. So I'm riding this high, and I'm riding this high sort of outside of Google's bidding strategies. Here's what I mean is I went from 521 up to 703. And my target ROAS goal is 400. So I'm way overshooting that. Like I can overshoot this all day just because it's a sale promotion. Now, what happens though January 1? Those people go away. My ROAS goal is still high. My spend's still high. Uh-oh. It's just gonna start to crash and burn because those people are just not gonna be buying anymore. Not at the rate that they used to. So here's a few things that I would say is kind of must-haves that if you don't start now, you need to start January 1. First thing that I would do is I would actually completely remove the target ROAS goal, but remove target CPA, remove all of your restricted bidding strategies, change them over to expansive, which is maximize conversion value, even manual CPC and just bid higher for whatever reason. But switching those over to a more enhanced, more outbound type of bidding strategy, more expansive, is going to actually allow Google to switch audiences. Google doesn't
brilliant,
know.
Dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google doesn't know that it's Christmas. It knows that there's seasonality, but it doesn't know it's Christmas. So what they're going to say is, hey, these people aren't buying anymore and I can't get those ROAS. So, and the campaigns just start to die because it's trying to extract more blood from that stone that's just not there. So if you switch over, it's actually going to come right back in. I actually have a pretty good example of this. And this is actually something that is very akin to what this would really do on its own. You'll see back in, I think it was like June or July, we had a dip here. So things were going good, and all of a sudden it goes like that, and it starts to dip down. What we did is we rode this here because the clicks were in line with ROAS, but then we turned everything back into expansive bidding strategies. It pops right back up. The reason why this fell off here was because things went out of stock. Like 40% of the products went out of stock. And so what's crazy is everything is kind of dipped down, and then it's now is rolling back up. But when things went out of stock, Google said, okay, well, I have this audience left with this product, try to sell that. It's just going to start to decay. And that's actually what's going to be happening in your campaign. It's going to say, well, that product either out of stock or that audience isn't interested anymore. And this audience still kind of is slightly engaged. So just put the ad spend there. Target ROAS is going to try to stick to a specific audience and extract as much as possible. Plus target ROAS favors repeat conversions, which is kind of the next point. Target ROAS favors repeat. So if you can turn on the new customer acquisition goal, absolutely have that on starting January 1. Reason being is that you don't want to fall into Google's trap, basically.
Yeah, Google's scraping at the bottom of the barrel, and all your repeat customers, even if Google is feasting on that for the longest time, they're basically gone or satiated.
Yeah. And then it's going to say, okay, well, how do we get new customers? It won't actually ask that question. You got to say, hey, go get me new customers.
Go get me, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so it kind of leads me to that second point. This one where I think is pretty cool. This is a campaign that we've been testing since the 5th through the 22nd. And this is, let me do a comparison. This is a difference between turning on and off the new customer acquisition setting. So what I'm going to look at is the new versus returning in my smart shopping campaigns. This is a time period I'm going to kind of highlight things so it makes it a little bit easier to see. This is the comparison window we want to look at. This is August through October versus October through November. Same time period, same amount of days. But all that I did was change the new customer goal. Now, what you'll see before, we had 69 new customers and 32 repeats. Turning it on, we had 256 new customers, 67 repeats.
Wow.
So I gained 35 and I gained 187. I gained 271 more and I gained 100% here. Now, there's probably some that were becoming new customers and then maybe made their second purchase. And that's the reason why the returning customers, plus we actually started to spend a whole bunch more. But what's cool is I didn't scale something that was about, 1/3 of the sales. 1/3 of my sales were coming from repeats. And now what is 67% of 67 of 333? What's that percentile?
I'm just going to do that in my math real quick.
For all of you listening out there in
20%.
YouTube land, 20%?
Yeah. I've got
Okay.
a calculator in front of me.
I was going to say, for all you out there in YouTube land, I run Google Ads and I can't do math.
Dude, I can't do remedial math in my head anymore. I used to be really good at it. And then it's the damn smartphone. It's so easy to just reach for that thing.
You do it fast enough, no one really notices.
Yeah.
Just get close and like, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't computer too good.
Yeah. That's gonna go pull up my smartphone. Stop talking. Let me double check your map. But that's what's pretty cool is that new customer acquisition is powerful. And this is even before. This is, this isn't actually something that is a flash in the pan. If we look at just the, let's take out the holiday sale here, holiday season. We see 20 goes to 30, 37 goes to 166.
Wow. You know what this reminds me of a little bit is weight training. Like you bulk up, you cut in, you bulk up, you cut in. And so when you're going after your new customers, you bulk up. And then when you're ready to really maximize ROAS and TCPA, like for a Black Friday, Cyber Monday type of situation, depending on what your goals are, then you can cut in and just go for hyper efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people actually do the opposite way. Like they'll say, let's just remove the ROAS goal. Let's increase budget. Let's just make all the sales we can. Right. That works for some clients too as well. And that's kind of thing, it goes up against your individual goals. But regardless, unless you're like, no, I absolutely want to spend my, what's cost per conversion? $38 every single time these people come back. That's not a really good growth strategy.
Yeah.
But turning on new customer acquisition is definitely going to help. And the way that Google identifies these new customers here is it goes off the Google Ads tag in the last 540 days of activity. If they see a person come in and they buy, that's a new customer. If they see that person come back, regardless of source, and buy again, it becomes a returning. So Google likes the returning customers because they're super cheap to convert and they spend more. Spend more because it's the second or third purchase from a trusted vendor, or trusted company, or trusted retailer, whatever it is. The first time you try something, you don't really say like, "Oh, buy a case of it," but you buy a case the second or third time. So those maximized conversion values become more valuable when they come back. And so Google's just like, well, those people are more valuable. Let's just go after them. So the way that you have to do this, you actually have to append inside of your smart shopping campaign. I love this. Google thinks I have a 4% optimization rate. Like, I love that. Like a 400 ROAS campaign, and I'm getting a 4%. Like, way to go, Google. Anyway, the customer conversion goal, I'm applying $150 to every new sale. And this is actually on purpose because the existing customers, when they come back, which is very high amount, they on average spend about 180 because this is a very expensive product and it's a hair care product. They use it very, very frequently. It's like every 2 months. So make sure that you're applying a good 90-day value to this campaign here, or the setting here, so that you can say, I want to actually append that to the first sale and then go and find me another one, because I know that person is going to eventually go and purchase 2 or 3 or more products in the next 90 days and I'll make that money. I just don't want to keep paying for that every single time.
Isn't this the column that you got added?
Yeah. Yeah. So Google's actually going to be adding a column. I asked them, can we have a customer or a conversion value that multiplies this? Because here's the fun part is, now if I was a bad advertiser, I would be leaning on this metric here. Let me just share with you. This is the fun part. So I can say, wow, look at this. We increased our cost by 137 and our conversion value went up 500%. Woo! That didn't actually happen. And what actually is going on is you have to take 256 new customer sales times the $150 I added, 38 grand. You have to take that $38,000 now and subtract that from here. So now you have to take 72,725 minus 3840, or on 38,400. The 38,400. I can't math. Yep. And then that equals 34. And then you have to take that 34,000, go all the way back over to here, and then say, okay, that was 10,136. This is divided by 10,136. Okay, 338.6 ROAS. Cool.
Which, to be fair, especially given that these are new customers cost more, this is a successful campaign. But like you said, we could go in and, pretend like it's twice as effective as it really is.
Right. And more of the story, though, is my cost went from 4 to 10, and my conversion value went from 12 to 32 after taking out that additional. I asked Google, hey, can we have a column that's basically like customer value before new customer acquisition costs have been increased? I'm like, yeah, we should definitely do that. I'm like, oh, I need a column. If you see that column in your Google Ads, you're welcome.
Do you think our friends in the barn ever got their own column?
No.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah. So it's really, really, really fun stuff. We got a whole column. I'm going to have that tattooed on my head. I got a column.
I got a Google column.
So that's the second thing that I would do is use new customer acquisition. The final thing that I'd like to talk about is test Performance Max.
I was just going to say Performance Max. I knew this was coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's my new favorite thing. It's actually one of our in-house specialists named Deb. He was been pushing for it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I agree. I tested it a few months ago, loved it. Some things that worry me though. Things that worry me about Performance Max.
Well, is for lead gen, right? We're talking Performance Max specifically for retail.
Yep. If you're lead gen, don't do this. Please, for love of God, don't do this. Use Discover if you want to use Performance Max. That's Google kind of their, okay, so Performance Max for lead gen sucks, so push Discover. But Performance Max for retail works very well most of the time.
Works 100% of the time, 60% of the time.
Exactly. 60% of the time works every time. And so I got you. Here's the bad part is you're going to have the conversion value to support it. Performance Max is going to test all of your channels. So it says, give me this big bank of assets. Give me your images, your videos, your products, your text ads. Give me everything you have. And I'm going to build you like 6 different campaigns. And I'm going to do it all in one campaign with one daily ad spend and focus on either target CPA, ROAS, whatever it may be. But if you don't have a good average cart value, it's going to hurt worse than Smart Shopping. That's one of the reasons why I've actually leaned on Smart Shopping harder than Performance Max, is usually Performance Max has a higher CPA. But it can be very, very controllable. You get to use automated bidding strategies like target CPA rather than just to maximize conversion value and ROAS. But the people out there listening, if you're doing drop shipping, have 10, 20% margins, probably not going to work for you very well, just because it's like, well, we spent a whole bunch of money on discovery, that didn't work, and display, and that didn't work, and YouTube, and that didn't work. Shopping worked. Search kind of did. It's going to basically test 5 or 6 different campaigns essentially for you.
I'm just curious. I don't mean to be overly combative. How many clients have we tested that are predominantly drop shipping? Like how many accounts? If you were just ballpark guess
on just anything,
yeah, e-commerce drop shippers,
probably 20, 25.
How many of them have worked?
Like 3.
Yeah.
And the margins are really thin. Like we have to have 800 ROAS. And it's like, cool, my budget is like 20 grand a month. I'm like, I'm gonna spend 1,500.
I'm not trying to sit here and like run around popping people's bubbles, but man, when I hit YouTube, especially because, you know, the way that we get advertised to and we market it to, I see all this education from drop shippers talking about how easy it is. And I'm going to teach you my proven method. And they all rely heavily on, oh, first you do this thing and then you just run ads. And it's like, that's, you know, all you need to do is just press the ad button. And I'm like, maybe they have something figured out that we don't have figured out. But 3 accounts over 25 is a 12% success rate. The average Google Ads, 50% of Google Ads campaigns fail after 90 days, but that means 50% of Google Ads campaigns succeed after 90 days. So we're talking about a different, 50% to 12%. Like that's a hell of a dilution.
And the biggest thing that I think is that people find out when they're like 4 months into this and they're like, oh, that's what they were talking about and why it didn't work, is there's this allure. You go to AliExpress, you go to Alibaba, and you find this
so much fun, dude. It's just a blast. Like, yeah, you're just a kid in a candy store. Like, oh, and I can sell that, and I can sell that.
And I'll give you a story. I did this.
I remember the watches.
Yeah, I did it with like 5 things. I only told you about the one because I was ashamed. I did it with bras.
All right.
I'm a capitalist.
Equal people opportunity. Need bras.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what happened was I was like, oh my God, this item on here is $4. I could sell this for 30 all day long. I'm gonna be rich. So I built a website from scratch, taught myself Shopify, build out a whole website, taught myself Google Ads, essentially like what I needed to do. Like it was my own campaign, put my own money in there. Didn't really make any sales. Saw some clicks, started wondering why, Googled my product, and there my product was on the first page of Google, right in the perfect shopping area. There's my product right there. It's number 1. And then my product again and again and again and again and again. And I realized I wasn't actually there. I was really far away at the end. It was my product just from every other retailer. And my brother, I'm like, I bought it for 2. I'm selling it for like 30. And the person in the first position is selling it for like $2.20. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just a race to the bottom. Like, who can make 1 million sales for a penny? And so, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are running into, is they find out that, oh my gosh, they can sell this money. And then it's Jeff Bezos, like, your profit is my opportunity.
Right.
Same exact thing. If I can,
yep. This is the favorite. If you're watching this right now and you're doing it, if you're successful drop shipping, specifically with paid ads, because I understand you got an audience, you got a list, you got, strategic partners, influencers, whatever. That's the way to play the drop ship game for sure. But if you are successful with drop shipping, running paid ads, and you don't mind giving up the secret sauce, I'd love to interview you. Like, because here's the thing is, so many people ask us, and all I do right now is I bat them away. I'd love to tell them what maybe, hey, this is the product to go after. This is how I look at the inventories or the industries that have margins, like successful pockets of opportunity. I'd love to put us in a position where we could actually save people from themselves.
Mm-hmm. I think I have one of the secret sauces just from working with clients. I'm like, aha, I think I got it. There's US based drop shippers that will actually accept returns. They actually will provide you with data feeds, just like an affiliate would, to run shopping ads to it. So and you want to find the things that's not sexy. Like, one of the things I had a brilliant idea. I don't really care if anybody steals it. Go ahead and steal it and tell me how it is. I don't have the time and I want this to work. I'm thinking like something as simple as like garage hardware, or like shelving units and brackets and screws, like something that's not sexy. The best campaigns in the world that I see are things that are like, you sell that online, like people buy that, right? And oh my God. Medical supply companies, we have a client that does something in the medical field, and they resupply a specific medical item, and that medical item has a barcode and a model number. People simply take out that item, they look at the item number, they type that into Google, and then they buy 10,000 more. Like, it's amazing. But like, and it's not this product, because I'm not going to give away a trade secret, but like, you imagine like disposable toothbrushes for hospitals. Like, that's not the thing, but it's like, oh man, I sell disposable toothbrushes on eCommerce and Shopify. You're like, really? Like, I can't run influencer ads to
that. Dude, that might be it. It's any industry where you can't run influencer traffic, because that's where everything gets all swallowed up. That's
the secret. That's what I'm thinking. So if you, one of the things like garage shelving, like I was looking at like garage shelving, that kind of stuff, like just something that's like not sexy that people need. That's not an impulse buy, but it's like, yeah, I'm redoing my garage. I need shelving. Like, no one's like, well, I'm not going to redo my garage. No, they're going to buy the shelving.
Right.
So that's what's kind of cool. So think about like things that people have to buy that's not sexy. I think that's one of the keys.
Well, I guess the problem there is you actually have to go find the wholesaler or the drop shipper that provides you with that, so it's easy to be like, oh, what industry would be great. But if you don't find the higher end, I'm going to say, because you want a quality product, but at least the provider that's giving you that, now you're sort of back to the drawing board.
Yeah, maybe find your drop shipper on page like 3 of Google. So wait, dude, there's not a lot of competition.
I know you're joking, but that's actually really good advice right there. Yeah. Cool. We shoot a video every day. So like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Fade to black. Come on, hit the button.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day. So if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.